Hey guys, today I am going to be giving you guys a storytime video, my first ever storytime video, and it is a story that actually happened about 4 hours ago today, so it's very fresh, very new. It's basically about the time that someone broke into my house, and there was a little plot twist at the end, so keep watching this video for that. I woke up at around 8:35 a.m. because I have an alarm set for 8:30, which is weird during the summer, but like I have things to do and I don't want to wake up at 11 like I usually do all summer, so I had an alarm to wake up at 8:30. So I was really tired. I didn't feel like getting up and doing stuff, so I just stayed on my phone for about like 5 minutes, and I was just really sleepy and tired still until someone rang the doorbell. And usually when someone rings the doorbell, I already have like small panic attacks because I get really anxious not knowing like who could be at the door. I never really answer the door because like I just never do, especially when you're home alone. 5 minutes later, they kept ringing the doorbell, and it wasn't just like one ring, it was like just like a repetitive type of ring. It wasn't just like ding, it was kind of like ding 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 ding. My parents were actually at work. They leave around like 6:30 to 7 a.m. every single day, so I assumed that they were already at work. It can't be one of them, that would be weird. And so I was like freaking out at this point because I'm like, what does this person want? I'm not about to answer the door at like 8:30 a.m. I want to get my sleep. I want to stay in bed for another hour. I called my friend because every time like this happens to me and I'm scared, I like to FaceTime my cousin or my friend. So I was FaceTiming my friend, and she was just like, "You're fine. Nobody's gonna break in. Just take a weapon with you and check outside to see who it is." And I was like, oh heck no, I'm not gonna go out there to see what that is. And my sister was actually on the other side of the bed kind of listening to what was happening, and the door was closed, so we didn't really want to go outside to check it. Like, might as well stay in the room because we feel safer there. I was trying to like block my ears to not hear anything else because I hate hearing other stuff and thinking it's someone trying to do something, so I try to block my ears out, but at the same time I could still hear like banging. I could hear banging from downstairs. It was just like I heard like a lot of thuds, and my sister did too, and it was freaking terrifying. So at this point, like, my heart is racing. I'm like, what the frick do we do? Like, who the F wants to come in our house at 8:30? Why can't you just like rob the house next to us or something? Like, we don't have anything. Just kidding, I don't want anyone to be robbed ever. It's just like, it was really scary and I didn't know what to do at the moment. Like, I kept hearing the banging, and then all of a sudden I hear footsteps walking past my bedroom door. I know it was footsteps because I've lived in this house for about 12 years, and it's not like I can't tell the difference between hearing stuff outside to hearing someone walking through our house. Me and my sister heard someone walking around our house and walking past our bedroom door, and then while they were walking through our house, I was like freaking the frick out, and that's when I dialed 911. Like, I didn't even think twice. I'm like, girl, I'm calling 911. Like, there's no stopping me right now. And then after they were walking past our door and stuff, and after we heard footsteps, I heard the doors shut. Like, they slammed the door downstairs, because when you walk into my house, there's stairs to come up to the actual house. We could hear the door slam shut after hearing footsteps. I wasn't sure if they left or if they had another friend they brought along to come and raid our house. I wasn't sure if it was just like a second burglar who slammed the door and tried to continue robbing my house. I was like, okay, there's no way I'm gonna go and check to see if it is an actual robber, because I'm just gonna stay in here. It could be anyone at this point. Like, I wanted to be safe and I didn't want to check, so I called 911, and so did my sister. I didn't know she called them either. I called, I was like panicking. I was trying to be as quiet as possible because obviously I thought the person was still in my house. They could have still been. So I was just like, my name is Dot, like, this is my address, please just come, hurry the frick up. And she was asking me what age I was, and I was like, too young to die. She was just really calming me down because I was freaking freak out. It was so extra. I was panicking and like I couldn't breathe. I was under my covers trying to not make any noise. So she's like, okay, the police will be on their way, just stay on the line. I asked like, how many cops are gonna be there? Is there gonna be like one? She's like, oh no sweetie, they're gonna go all out. There's gonna be like the motorcyclist, there's gonna be a dog with them. And I was like, okay, that's great. If there's nobody here, then we're screwed, and we just brought everyone here for no reason. And then I was like, are they gonna search my house? And she was like, yes. And then I was like, oh shoot, it's like really messy. crazy, and she actually started laughing, and it was kind of a weird time to start making jokes, but I did anyways. Then after like 10 minutes later, it took forever for them to come. I'm not expecting them to come around the corner and stuff, but it's just like, you know, what if like something worse was happening and like the police didn't come after like 20 minutes? The burglar would have been able to get away by now. So finally, after 10 to 15 minutes, she finally told me that the police were here and they're just going to search the area. We finally heard someone knock on the door. We were like, okay, someone knocked on the door. Was that the police? She's like, oh yeah, hold on one sec. And then she's like, yeah, it is. Go ahead and open the door. As soon as my sister opened the door, they're like, hands up and stuff, and it was really funny. I went downstairs to go outside with my sister, and like the cop had a gun. It was so freaking scary. Like, I've never seen a gun in the flesh before. And they had a cute dog that I really wanted to pet, but it was just like not the time, you know. And so they searched our house. It took like about 10 minutes. Me and my sister were just outside like answering questions. They were like, the door was locked when we got here, so it's like there's no way someone actually came in. And I was like, yeah, I heard someone walking through the freaking house, like I'm not crazy. And then they were like, yeah, but the door was locked, so you know, like nobody could have came in. What the frick? Like, they're like, was it, you could have been your parents? Where do they work? And like, I know my parents, it couldn't have been my parents, because my parents, they leave at 6:30 or 7 a.m. and both of them work super far. My dad works like almost 2 hours away from our house. My mom works like 30 minutes away probably, but it wasn't my mom because we were on the phone while it was happening. My dad wasn't replying or answering his phone, but I know it couldn't have been him because he works 2 hours away, right? Almost 2 hours away. So why would it be him, you know, like coming back home from what? And he leaves at 7 a.m. Like, it just didn't add up. So we're like, okay, that's really weird. So we went back in and we had to check if anything looked like it was stolen, and obviously nothing was. Like, I don't even know how I would be able to tell. Like, how am I supposed to tell, you know? So they came to the conclusion that it could have just been the trees we were hearing outside that they were cutting down, or it could have been the construction workers, and we were safe and we were fine and stuff. I knew like they couldn't really figure out another reason that we heard all that stuff other than the construction, but yeah, they couldn't really explain why we heard that. Then we left and we were like, thank you guys, I'm sorry, whatever. And then we're like, okay, let's call our dad, you know, because he wasn't answering throughout this whole entire moment. So we couldn't really see if it was him in the beginning, but we finally called and he answered, and he was like, yeah, I left a little later than usual. I left after 8:30. And then we're like, okay, but why were you ringing the doorbell? And he was like really angry at us. Like, every time we would ask him a question, like if it was him or not, he would think that we were calling him because we heard doorbell rings, and he's just like, don't call me, call the cops, blah blah blah. So we couldn't get an answer out of him. So I'm still kind of confused as to why he was ringing.
So to pretty much give some closure, the knocking and the ringing was actually the construction workers outside trying to get my dad to change his parking because he parked under a tree, and the footsteps that we heard was actually my dad walking outside to get his car out of the way, and obviously we didn't check and we didn't hear that it was him.
So we basically called the cops on my dad. That was really extra of us. We learned our lesson. The next time someone knocks, we are going to check before something happens and we don't really know what's going on, and we call the cops and everyone comes and sees the house. Like, we had a whole police search through our house for nothing, because it was just my dad, my silly dad. We had a right to be scared because it was 8:30 a.m. My parents leave at 6:30 a.m. We heard someone knocking and ringing the doorbell and then walking to our house. Like, why else wouldn't we call 911, you know? So, like, before you hate on me in the comments and saying, wow, you guys are so ridiculous, you could have just checked. Like, my life was in danger. I felt like my life was in danger. And when you feel like your life is in danger, you don't want to risk your life even more. It's better to be safe and sorry. So that was the time where we thought someone broke into our house, and we called the cops and they came to our house and searched everything, but it was really just my dad. So yeah, very long story, very interesting, complicated situation, but I don't even know. Like, yeah, that's basically my story. Sorry if I wasted your time and you didn't think this was interesting. To me, I think it's interesting. So yeah, thanks for watching, and if you want more story times, just like this, or like comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. So goodbye.